Welcome. This is Marnie Swedberg with womenspeakers.com, and I'm excited to be here today with Twila Belk, one of our featured speakers from Iowa, and she is the author of a great little book called The Power to Be. I've loved this book since she sent it to me as a manuscript, and I got to write a reference for it, and now to have it in my hands and to love it. I love the book, but I also love the author. Welcome to you, Twila.
Thank you, Marnie. It's great to be with you today.
It's good to have you. And I just have loved your ministry. I think I met you first. You were Cecil Murphy's personal assistant for years and years. And
still am, but he's transitioning to retirement. He's almost there, but he still has me for a while yet.
That's awesome. And then you are an author in your own right. You've written several books and a speaker, and love promoting you at womenspeakers.com and enjoy having you here with us today. So we are going to go ahead through some of your favorite aha moments and share them with you guys, because I just always love the depth that these bring to life, and just kind of taking a whole life and getting some of the gold out of it right here together on air. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Whatever we focus on becomes magnified.
Okay, whatever we focus on becomes magnified. We have a lot of negative messages that come to us every day. Could be through our life circumstances. It could be through Facebook or the media or whatever. And whatever we are experiencing, if we focus on those things or what we've heard, they tend to overwhelm us and start to control our lives, and they become magnified in our lives. But if we turn our focus onto God and think about Him, He becomes magnified in our lives, and we remember who He is, how big He is, and what He's able to do. And so I would rather to have God magnified in my life than my circumstances, because it can get pretty ugly.
You think of a magnifying glass or a microscope, and you think, wow, that's exactly what we're supposed to be doing with God. We're just supposed to be looking more closely, look more intently at Him. And then the rest of the yuck just kind of has to fade away because He's in the center.
But it takes a lot of resolve to do it, a lot of effort. It's not easy. I will admit to that, because sometimes we just want to have a pity party and dwell in our circumstances. And but we need to turn our attention elsewhere, and we can get our attention on the right things. Philippians talks about thinking about whatever is pure and lovely and admirable and excellent. That's God. If we think about Him and those good things, our attitude, our life, everything goes in a much better direction.
Absolutely. Because I know God, I can cease striving for control.
Well, most people are familiar with the verse, "Be still and know that I am God." And the New American Standard Version says it this way: cease striving and know that I am God. And I'm a person who likes to be in control. I think most people like to be in control of things. And when things are out of control, it's like, what do we do? Because we like to have it all together. But sometimes, most of the times, life is not under control. And as hard as we try to get things under control, it's not going to work. And there are times when life gets so overwhelming to me. I'm thinking, I've got so many pressures hitting me from every side. And it's like, I can't control the health issues. I can't control my husband's health. I can't control the finances. I can't control things people do. And I just, Lord, I can't control this or this or this or this. But I can look to You, who is the controller of all things, and know that You're able. And it's a releasing. We just have to release things to Him. When I pray, a lot of times He'll give me the message. He'll whisper in my ear, "You don't have to strive. You do not have to strive." And so I try to remember that, because, ultimately he takes care of everything. I do not have to strive on my own. He's in control.
He is in control. For all of us control girls, I have a saying that we're all hopelessly deluded. we're all hopelessly addicted to the delusion that we're in control of anything.
Yeah. we can't keep the world spinning. We can't do it.
But it feels so much safer to know what's coming and to know that, we're ready for it. And it feels very unsafe not to. And so that's where the faith comes in. But I love this quote, because I know God, I can see striving for control.
Yeah, the unknown is scary. It really is, so we just have to trust.
Yep. I am who I am is a present tense God. I have no reason to worry or fear because he is with me right now.
Well, when I went to grade school, I don't remember a lot of what I learned there, but I do remember that I am is present tense, and God is a present tense God. When in Exodus, he was talking to Moses, and Moses is, bringing a lot of stuff up to him, all these things, who am I, and all this stuff. And God says to him, I am who I am. And that message is for us today, because he's present tense. He says, this is my name to be known forever, and we're supposed to pass it on to generation. And when God says I am, he means I am faithful, I am trustworthy, I am true, I am provider, and the list goes on and on. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. So yeah.
I want to read it for you.
Yes, would you?
15. When God calls himself I am, his message for us is this: I am sufficient, I am able, I am faithful, I am trustworthy, I am the God of details, I am God of the impossible, I am always with you, I am confident, I'm the comforter, I am the counselor, I am healer, I am sustainer, I am the one who created you and knows you better than you know yourself. I am your provider. I am your strength. I am your shield. I am your hiding place. I am your burden bearer. I am your source of peace, joy, hope, and rest. I am your all in all. I am love. I am life. Besides that, I am all powerful. I am all seeing. I am all knowing, and I am accessible. I am who I am. And I love that you, like what you say, in the present tense. This isn't the God of the Old Testament only. This is God right now, right here with me, the God I need to fight for me right now.
And isn't it wonderful to know that the God we read about in the Old Testament, he still is able to do the things he did then today. And, who he was, is, and will be, he's the same. And boy, we can take a lot of comfort in that, knowing he is, I am. Yes.
I am unshakable when God is at my right hand.
Well, David said in the Psalms, he said, I have set the Lord always before me because he is at my right hand. I will not be shaken. And so another way I like to look at this is that I have to keep God at the top of my pile, instead of being at my right hand at the top of my pile, because I'm a forgetful person. And for example, one day years ago, it was an August day and I was tooling around my house. It was just an ordinary day. And I thought, something is familiar about this day. And I'm a person who has a lot of piles, and I thought, in the middle of the day, I found a note in the middle of the stack of my pile, and it said it was the first day of school, and I had forgotten to take my kids. Oh. It's like my friends and family's like, Twila, how on earth could anybody do a thing like that? And haven't we just gone through a grueling summer? And you could hardly wait to do it. And it's like, I have to keep things at the top of my pile, or put a Post-it note places, or I'll forget about it. It's the same way with God. We need to keep him at the top of our piles. We need to keep him at our right hand, keep our focus on him, because we're forgetful people. And, we tend to forget, he's the same God who did this for me, or this, he can do it. But, we got to keep him at the top of our pile. So I can be unshakable when he's there. Yeah.
I love that story. I have no worries because my Heavenly Father knows my needs.
I have no worries because my Heavenly Father knows my needs. And in Matthew, it talks about, will all your worries add a single moment to your life? Jesus asks that. And I remember a day years ago, it was an April day, and it was a bad day. I was looking frumpy and feeling frumpy. I just got over strep throat, and I had a speaking engagement later that evening, and I was just a mess. I had made an appointment to get my hair done, and I didn't know how I was going to pay for it. And then my friend Ann showed up at the door, and she had been praying for me because she knew I had a speaking engagement, and she brought over supper for my family. And I thought, wow, that was great. And then I mentioned to her that I was going to have a haircut later, and she says, oh, just a minute, I forgot something out in the car. And she came back in, handed me a $20 bill. Now, I hadn't told her I didn't know how I was going to pay for that haircut, but God did, and she brought me that $20 bill. I went to my haircut to get my hair done, and the gal gave me a haircut and a glitz, absolutely free. She just wanted to bless me, and I was looking mighty fine, I'll tell you. So that day, I ended up with a supper I didn't have to cook, a new hairdo, a great new hairdo, $20 extra in my pocket, and confidence to make it through the evening. God knew exactly what I needed, and he took care of it for me. And he'll do that, and he'll do the same thing for everybody else if we look to him. So we do not have to worry, because my Heavenly Father knows my needs.
Unless you think that is Twila's biggest problem, I would like to just take you to page 21 and 22 of her book, Choose to Trust Without Understanding, where she says, for example, I didn't understand why my first baby was a miscarriage. I had a complex emergency gallbladder surgery when my daughter was 3 weeks old, and I could not carry her for 7 weeks. My dad died unexpectedly from a brain aneurysm when he was extremely healthy. A drunk driver's vehicle crashed into the van on the way home from a church event. My mom died in an accident. This list goes on, you guys. This isn't a woman who's just sitting here glossing over life, and the hairdo is the biggest thing. Twila, you really understand pain and disappointment, and you have chosen to live in the presence of God. You know, the book title is The Power to Be, not to do necessarily. You do, but you first be.
The subtitle to the book is Be Still, Be Grateful, Be Strong, Be Courageous. And we can do all those things. The bottom line is trust in a big God, and turning our focus onto him.
Yeah, and he is such a big God.
Yeah.
I can trust God today and tomorrow because he has shown me his ability in the past.
He just said, I can trust God today and tomorrow because he's shown me his ability in the past. And we need to remember God's track record. Again, we're forgetful people. And when we are facing something in our life, whatever circumstances they might be, cancer or sometimes a whole bunch of those circumstances pile up on us at the same time. I know they do that way with me. And it's like, I need to remember who God is and remember all the things he's done for me in the past. Sometimes I'll write what I call God stuff. I'll write down all my God stuff so I can remember it, because I need to look back at that and see how he provided every day. And the list goes on and on. It's just amazing. It's still like that. I need to remember those things. And I think about even Moses, as great a man as he is, when he saw so many things that God did, the burning bush, walking across, opening the Red Sea and providing manna every day and all of that. But there's a place where it talks about how he just became so frustrated, and the people were tired of eating manna. They were grumbling and all that, and they wanted meat. He's going before God and telling all these complaints and stuff, and God says he's going to send meat. And Moses said, well, how's that going to happen? Pretty much. It's like, and God says, well, when did I become weak? Yeah. It's like, we need to remember he's not weak. We need to remember his track record. Yeah. And so even people like Moses, who have seen things all the time, huge things, when we get in that mode where we're overwhelmed or just weary, we just need to remember who God is and rest in that.
We have time for one more.
Okay.
Who I am doesn't matter. Who God is does.
Yeah. Who I am doesn't matter. Who God is does. And again, that I can take you back to Moses on. I can tell so many stories. When God came to Moses and he says, I've seen the the misery of the Israelites. Their slavery, and he says, I'm going to take them into a land flowing with milk and honey. I'm coming to rescue them. And he says, good news, Moses, I've chosen you to make that happen. And then he comes up with all these excuses. Who am I? And that's when God says, I am who I am, and all this. And Moses has all these excuses, and I call those Moses moments. I've had a lot of them myself. When God called me to play piano for BSF, I said, who am I, Lord? I'm just a scriptural pianist. My right hand doesn't know what my left hand is doing. And when he called me to write, it's like, Lord, don't you remember I can barely talk? And then he called me to be a speaker. And it's like, Lord, don't you remember that I can't even, but the excuse I gave you for not writing is because I can't talk. And then he reminded me that he used a donkey to get his message across. And so he wants me to know that he doesn't want my competence. He wants my obedience. It doesn't matter who I am. It matters who he is. And if he's called me to do something, he will make it happen in his own way. He just wants us to be obedient and to trust him for the results.
Love it. Love it. Well, this has gone fast. They always do. And Twila, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun. I love talking about this stuff.
Oh, and you guys can learn more about Twila. Her website name is gottatellsomebody.com, Gotta, gottatellsomebody.com. And you can also find her over at womenspeakers.com. If you click on Iowa, she's going to come right up there at the top. Thank you for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.